October 20th, 1973. Andy Williams' dressing room phone rang at 2 a.m. The voice on the other end was a doctor from University of Iowa Hospitals, whose name Andy had only learned 6 days ago. "Mr. Williams, I don't know how to explain this," Dr. Harrison said, his voice shaking. "Sarah Mitchell was supposed to die 5 days ago, but after your visit, something changed. Her white blood cell count is rising. She's asking for breakfast. This shouldn't be possible." Andy closed his eyes, tears streaming down his face. He'd only sung her one song. How could one song do this? But to understand why that phone call happened, we need to go back 8 days earlier, to a moment that would change everything. October 12th, 1973. NBC Studios, Burbank, California. Andy Williams had just finished 5 hours of rehearsal when his assistant, Margaret Chen, walked into his dressing room, holding a single pale blue envelope. Her hands were trembling. "Andy," she said quietly, "you need to read this one, right now." The envelope was addressed in shaky, childlike handwriting. Small smudges dotted the paper. Teardrops, Andy realized. The return address read, Sarah Mitchell, 412 Oak Street, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Inside was a letter that would change his life. "Dear Mr. Williams, my name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 14 years old. I have acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and the doctors say I have 3 weeks, maybe less. I'm not scared of dying, but I am scared of leaving without hearing you sing one more time. When the chemotherapy made me so sick I couldn't move, I'd close my eyes and imagine you were singing just for me. Your voice made the pain go away. Before I go, I just want to hear you sing, not on TV or a record, just for me. I want to know what it feels like to matter to someone I admire." A school photograph fell from the envelope, a smiling girl with long brown hair and hopeful eyes. Andy read the letter 3 times, tears falling onto the pale blue paper. Margaret stood crying in the doorway. "Get me the hospital information," Andy said quietly. "Find out who her doctor is." 20 minutes later, Margaret connected Andy with Dr. Thomas Harrison, Sarah's oncologist. "Mr. Williams, I'm surprised by this call. Sarah wrote you a letter?" "She did. How much time does she have?" Dr. Harrison sighed heavily. "Days, not weeks. Her body is shutting down faster than we anticipated. She's barely conscious most of the time. Her mother, Linda, is staying with her around the clock because we don't expect Sarah to make it through the weekend. I want to come see her. I want to sing for her." Silence. Then, "Mr. Williams, hospital protocol doesn't allow celebrity visits. There are insurance concerns, privacy issues, and frankly, the risk this could be seen as a publicity stunt. The administration would never approve it." Andy felt his jaw tighten. "Dr. Harrison, with all due respect, I don't give a damn about protocol. That little girl is dying. The only thing she wants is to hear me sing. I don't want press. I don't want photos. I just want to give Sarah one moment where she knows she matters. Can you help me, or do I need to find someone who will?" A long pause. "Mr. Williams, I've been an oncologist for 20 years. No celebrity has ever called asking to visit a dying patient without cameras. If you're serious, I'll make it happen, but I need to know you're really coming. I'll be on the first flight out tomorrow morning." Andy's next call was to his manager, Jerry Weintraub. "Jerry, I need to cancel the next 3 days of rehearsals." "Are you insane? We have the biggest show of the season in 6 days." "A 14-year-old girl is dying in Iowa. She wrote me a letter. She has less than a week to live. I'm flying to Cedar Rapids tomorrow." "Jerry, this is business. You have obligations." "Jerry," Andy interrupted, "have you ever asked yourself why I sing? I've spent 30 years singing for millions of people, but right now there's a child dying who thinks she doesn't matter, and you're telling me a TV show is more important than showing her she's wrong?" Jerry was quiet. Finally, "Okay, I'll handle the network, but if the press finds out, then it looks bad. I can live with that. What I can't live with is letting that little girl die thinking she doesn't matter." That night, Andy sat in his Bel Air living room at 3 a.m. playing Moon River over and over. Nothing felt right. His wife Claudine found him surrounded by crumpled sheet music. "Andy, what are you doing?" "Trying to get it perfect for Sarah." "Everything you sing is perfect." Andy shook his head, vulnerability raw in his eyes. "This isn't for a TV audience. This is for a dying child who just wants to feel safe one more time. This is the most important performance of my entire career, and there will only be one person in the audience. How do I make that perfect?" Claudine wrapped her arms around him. "You give her what you've always given everyone. You give her your heart. That's all she wants, Andy. Not perfection, just you." October 14th, 1973, 2:30 p.m., University of Iowa Hospitals. Andy Williams walked through the pediatric oncology wing carrying his guitar case. Nurses stopped mid-stride. Patients stared. Dr. Harrison met him at the nurses' station. "Mr. Williams, before you go in, Sarah deteriorated last night. She had a seizure around midnight. She's been drifting in and out of consciousness. I don't know if she'll even be aware you're there." "She'll know," Andy said quietly. "Even if she can't respond, she'll know someone came." He stopped outside room 407. Through the window, he saw a woman beside a hospital bed, her head in her hands, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Andy took a deep breath and pushed open the door. Room 407 was small and sterile. Medical equipment beeped softly. In the bed lay Sarah Mitchell, impossibly small, her body disappearing beneath white sheets. She'd lost all her hair. Her skin was translucent, ghostly. This wasn't the smiling girl from the photograph. This was a child who'd been fighting for 2 years and was finally losing. Beside her sat Linda Mitchell, looking 20 years older than she probably was. When she saw Andy, her face crumpled. "Oh my God, you came! You actually came!" Andy walked over and pulled her into a hug. Linda collapsed against him, sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm so sorry," she kept saying. "I told Sarah not to bother you. You don't need our problems." "Linda," Andy said gently, "I'm so glad she wrote to me." "I don't know how to let her go. She's my baby. I have to watch her die, and there's nothing I can do. Nothing." Andy let her cry, understanding that sometimes the most helpful thing is simply being present in someone's pain. After several minutes, Linda pulled back. "She's been asking for you. Even barely conscious, she whispers your name. I've been telling her you're coming, even though I didn't believe it." "I'm here now. May I sit with her?" Andy moved to the chair beside Sarah's bed. He took her small, cold hand in both of his, trying to warm it. "Sarah," he said softly, "it's Andy Williams. I got your letter, sweetheart, and I came to sing for you." For a moment, nothing. Then, slowly, Sarah's eyes fluttered open, glassy with medication, but when she focused on Andy's face, something miraculous happened. Her eyes cleared, a spark of recognition, of joy, of life. "Mr. Williams?" Barely a whisper. "Hi, Sarah. I'm right here." A tear rolled down her pale cheek. "You came? All the way to Iowa for me?" "I would have come anywhere in the world for you, sweetheart." "I thought I wasn't important enough. I thought you'd throw away my letter." Tears streamed down Andy's face. "Sarah Mitchell, you are one of the most important people I've ever met, and this is the most important thing I've ever done." Sarah smiled weakly. "But you sing for millions of people on TV." "I do. But sometimes the most important performances are the ones where there's only one person in the audience." "Can you sing Moon River, like my dad used to? One more time before I—" She didn't finish, but didn't need to. Andy carefully took out his guitar. His hands shook as he positioned it. He looked at Linda, standing in the corner, hands pressed to her mouth. He looked at Sarah, watching him with pure peace, and then he began to play. Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossin' you in style someday. As Andy sang, something remarkable happened. Sarah's breathing steadied, the tension in her small body eased, and then, impossibly, she began singing along, her voice thin as paper, barely audible, but she knew every word. Old dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Linda watched her daughter sing with Andy Williams, witnessing something she hadn't seen in months. Sarah looked peaceful, not in pain, not scared, just peaceful. Two drifters off to see the world, there's such a lot of world to see. Andy's voice cracked with emotion, but he kept singing. This wasn't about perfection, this was about presence, about showing Sarah her life mattered. We're after the same rainbow's end, wadin' round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River and me. When the song ended, profound silence filled the room. Sarah opened her eyes with unexpected clarity. That was beautiful. Thank you. Andy gently cupped her face. Sarah, your letter was the most important letter I've ever received, and you are the bravest person I've ever met. I don't feel brave. I'm scared, Mr. Williams. Really scared. What if it hurts? What if I'm alone? What if everyone forgets me? Andy's throat tightened. Listen to me carefully. I believe with all my heart that when we leave this world, all the people who loved us are waiting. Your dad is there, waiting with his arms open, and he's going to sing Moon River with you, and it's going to be more beautiful than anything you can imagine. You really think so? I know so. And until then, you've got your mom, who loves you more than anything, and you've got me. You are not alone, Sarah. You will never be alone. Sarah nodded, and for the first time in weeks, she smiled genuinely. Will you come back and visit me? Andy saw in her eyes that she knew. She knew she was dying, but she was asking him to give her hope anyway. I promise, Andy said, meaning it. Andy stayed 3 more hours. He sang every song Sarah requested. Danny Boy, The Impossible Dream, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. He told her stories that made her laugh. As afternoon turned to evening and Sarah drifted to sleep, Andy sang Amazing Grace, and Linda joined in, her voice cracking with emotion. When Sarah finally fell asleep, Andy kissed her forehead and whispered, "Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for reminding me why I sing." Andy flew back that night, emotionally drained, but feeling he'd done something that mattered more than any TV show ever could. 3 days later, he threw himself into rehearsals. The October 19th show was flawless, but Andy felt hollow. He kept wondering if Sarah was still alive. On October 20th at 2 a.m., his phone rang. "Mr. Williams? Dr. Harrison. Sarah was supposed to die 5 days ago. We'd prepared Linda, called hospice. Every medical indicator said she wouldn't make it through the weekend. Is she gone? No, that's why I'm calling. After your visit, something changed. Her white blood cell count started rising October 15th. She's been eating, talking. This morning she walked to the bathroom with help. This shouldn't be possible. I don't have a medical explanation. Something happened in that room when you sang to her. Sarah is living when she shouldn't be." Sarah Mitchell lived for another 14 months. 14 months doctors couldn't explain. Andy visited her 6 more times. They celebrated her 15th birthday. He sent flowers every week. She used those months to write letters to other sick children, telling them to never give up hope. When Sarah finally passed in December 1974, she died peacefully, with Andy's voice playing softly beside her bed. Andy sang at her funeral. 500 people who'd heard the story filled the church in Cedar Rapids. He sang Moon River one last time for Sarah. Linda Mitchell took those extra 14 months and turned grief into purpose. In 1975, she established the Sarah Mitchell Foundation for Terminally Ill Children. Andy became its biggest supporter. To date, the foundation has granted over 8,000 wishes. Andy rarely spoke publicly about Sarah. When asked about his most meaningful moment, he'd smile sadly and say, "The moments that matter most are the ones you share with people who will never make headlines." The pale blue letter stayed in Andy's wallet until he died in 2012. Found worn and faded from thousands of readings, it had words written on the back. "The most important fan mail I ever received. She taught me what singing is really for." Today, a plaque in University of Iowa Hospital's pediatric wing reads, "In memory of Sarah Mitchell, who reminded us that sometimes the greatest medicine is simply to be seen, heard, and loved." Every October 14th, staff play Moon River throughout the wing. They call it Sarah's Day. Andy Williams could have ignored that letter. He could have sent a signed photo. He had a million reasons not to fly to Iowa, not to risk everything. Instead, he chose to be present for one dying child who just wanted to feel less alone. And in doing so, he gave Sarah 14 extra months, inspired a foundation that helped 8,000 families, and reminded us that the most powerful thing we can offer another human being is this: I see you. You matter. You are not alone. If this story of compassion and the unexplainable power of human connection moved you, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Share this with someone who needs reminding that one act of kindness can change everything. Have you witnessed a moment when someone's compassion created an inexplicable change? Let us know in the comments. Ring that notification bell for more true stories about the best of human nature. Because sometimes the greatest performances happen when there's only one person in the audience.